this whole time, dude, I'm going through this struggle, this first 10 or 11 years. And when I think about quitting, and I think about like stopping it, and I think, which was a lot.
Got day 2, 75 hard.
And so
it's the second 45-minute workout. Do shoulders, I did chest earlier. And yeah, let's fucking go, dude.
I looked up the records of the guy who owned the house, and I found him on Facebook. And I sent him a message, and I said something to the effect, I said, hey, if you live in...
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah, so, yeah. So I said, hey man, you know, if this is your house, you know, I want to buy the house maybe. He's like, well, are you a broker? And I'm like, no, I just want to buy the house. And he's like, well, make an offer. And I'm like, well, I don't have the money right now, but I want to buy the house. If you ever decide to sell it, would you please contact me? And he, you know, I'm sure he was like, yeah, whatever, right? I don't even think he responded. And then I set an alarm on my phone. This was in April. And then every April for the next 8 years, I sent him a message. I said, hey man, it's me again. Like, you know, I know you can see the message up there. If you're ever interested in selling the house, please contact me first. And then 2015 or 16, he put the house on the market and he didn't contact me. So I contacted him back and I said, hey man, like I thought you would let me know if like you were gonna sell the house. And the house was priced super high, dude. And like way higher than I would have paid for it or anybody else, clearly, because it didn't sell. And so then the next couple of years after that, it didn't sell. He put it off the market. I kept sending the same message. And then eventually, like he like favorably replied. He's like, hey man, why don't you come over and have a look at it? And so Emily and I went over and we looked at the house. We walked through the house. He was super nice. We talked to him. And, you know, I said, you know, the guy's name was Jay, still friends with him, good dude. He, you know, I said, okay, well, and then this time I could afford it. And he's like, well, I want this. And what he wanted was, like, I'm not paying it. Like, he knew I wanted the house bad, right? So I kind of screwed myself in negotiation. So we haggled back and forth for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months. And then we finally got to a point where I thought it was still high for what I thought, but I was willing to pay it. And it's funny because like I sent him a meme back to tell him I was going to buy the house. So like, you know that part in Django Unchained, you see that movie? So you know the part where he says sold to the man with the fantastic beard? So there's a meme that says sold to the man with the fantastic beard. And that's me, right? And I fucking bought the house with the meme. And this is a house that had affected me so deeply that I didn't quit my business, which then allowed me to end up living in that house. And that's where I live today. Crazy. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. There's nothing by accident. What you visualize, it just, if you're willing to put into action behind it. I mean, dude, like, I could have bought a different house. You know what I'm saying? Like the millions of houses on the internet, like I could have picked any house, dude. But when I thought about my life and I visualized like what it was going to look like if I didn't quit, I visualized myself driving down the driveway and like seeing, you know, myself walking up the driveway. Like I see myself, it's almost like it was pre-programmed to fucking happen.
Yeah.
You know?
How should someone think about visualization for themselves?
You know, I think they have to look at it as a skill set. You know, I think you have to understand that to get good at any skill, you have to have reps. To get good at podcasting, you have to have reps. To get good at speaking, you have to have reps. To get good at weightlifting, you have to do reps. Like, it's really the secret to almost anything. And so I think getting in a position where you understand, one, that it's real, and two, that it's real whether you choose it's real or not. That's the thing that people have to understand. This is no different than gravity. You could say to me, hey, gravity doesn't exist, but if we go up on the top of this building and you step off, you're gonna learn really quick that it's a real thing. And people think that law of attraction is something that they can believe in or not believe in, when in reality, it's happening whether you recognize it or not, because if you go back and track your thoughts and you audit your thoughts honestly, you are living the existence that you believe you deserve to live right now. So when you learn to control that, just like we're talking about this, through learning, accepting it as true, and then practicing the skill set, you get better and better and better and better. And how I came across it was I was lucky enough to meet someone in 2006 who understood the law of attraction and who educated me on it. and gave me the book The Secret, okay? And I watched The Secret and I was like, this is kind of cheesy, dude. But at the time, I was so broke that I'm like, well, but I'll fucking do it, right?
You were $60,000 to $70,000 in debt.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, I was living with my dad at that time. I had to move back home. And so I started to think, I'm like, fuck, dude, this is really cheesy, but I'll fucking commit to it. And so I started making up this little routine in my brain. And I would close my eyes at night and I would start to visualize this exact scenario. I would visualize myself, and by the way, now remember this, I'm 27 years old. I had to move back in with my dad because my business was struggling. I couldn't afford to live on my own. So I just picked the biggest dream that I could think of for me. And the biggest dream at that time that I could think of for me was owning a Lamborghini and flying private, all right? So, and then I'd never done either of those things, all right? And nobody I fucking knew owned a Lamborghini. I didn't know anybody that owned a Lamborghini. I didn't know anybody that flew private. I fucking didn't even, it was like, a trillion miles away from my current reality. But I picked it because I'm like, I always loved Lamborghinis, and flying private seemed pretty cool, like, right? And it is, all right? So I closed my eyes at night, and for 5 minutes before I went to bed, I started to think this dream. And I would see myself pull up, and I was driving the Lamborghini, I could smell it, I could feel the Alcantara, and I could see out the windshield. As I pulled up and I turned to the right, the jet would go across my windshield where I could see the jet. The jet was white with some blue stripes on it, had a really nice chrome set of stairs with some wood grain on it, and I could see this going across the windshield as I turned the car to the right. And then as I opened the door would open vertical like Lamborghini doors do, and I would look out the door and I could see the jet, and particularly I could see the steps going up to the jet. And it had a rug, and it had the wood grain steps, and it had the rug, and then I would get into the jet, and I would like notice all the things in the jet. The material, I would notice the wood grain, I would notice the marble, I would notice the leather seats and the color of them. And I would just think this simple 2-minute or 3-minute exercise over and over and over again, right? And the other thing that I would visualize is that I would visualize, I picked this up off one of the things I read, to visualize people cheering for you. I don't know why that appealed to me. When I grew up, I always felt like I was a performer of some sort, but I didn't know what. And so I put this thing of me where I was on stage and people were clapping, and I had no context to it. And I would always see that right after the jet. So right after I got on the jet, then I would see like this short, very short, like 3-second clip of me being on stage and people cheering. And bro, fucking, that was 2007? By 2012, 5 years later, that was a fucking reality. Like, dude, I've only flown commercial one time since then. So like, we are talking about legitimately creating a reality. Like I had a white Lamborghini. I've had a bunch of them, just like the one in the visualization. Like I just said, I haven't flown on a commercial airliner in over 10 years. You see what I'm saying? Like this shit becomes real. And by the way, I sell out motherfucking spaces all the time to go speak, and when I'm done, guess what people do? They usually clap. Not all the time, but most of the time. So like, these things are real, and if we can intentionally create a reality through visualization, why wouldn't you want to do that? So you have to start, you have to buy in, you have to say, okay, this is a real thing, whether I understand it or not. This is being a realist, okay? This is important. You have to look at things for what they are, not what you want them to be or what you believe they shouldn't be. You have to say, this is what it is. And from all accounts, in my observation, this is a real thing that exists. So you have to accept that it's reality first off, and then you have to start practicing. So pick a dream that is the biggest fucking dream that makes no sense, it doesn't have to, and then dedicate that time to just seeing yourself living that dream. And don't allow yourself to get off track of how I'm going to get to that point. This is where a lot of people get confused with this. They start to visualize this, and then during the thought process, they allow themselves to get into the how I'm going to get there. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to see yourself living this life, and we'll worry about how, tomorrow we'll wake up and take actions. So that would be my advice on how to think about it and how to start about it, and also my testimonial as to how real it is. And when I've adjusted that, of course, when I hit that, I started to adjust it, right? And when I've adjusted that, all those other things have happened the exact same way. Like literally every single one of them. Every single one of them did. Not even miss on any of them. So I truly believe that we all have this power. I believe it's a real thing that exists. And I believe that the governments of the world have long conspired to not allow people to understand how we exist in reality and what allows us to create our own reality. I think we're far more powerful than we have been led to believe.
Okay, so on that point, on education, you've said before, the majority of time I went through the regular education process, I was told I was incapable. I was told that I should be regular. I was told my dreams were stupid. The system that we have is flawed because it does not encourage the actual potential of what humans have. And I was told that for fucking 16 years.
Me too.
I would usually do my shoulder workout at the gym, but I'm trying to get this all on film. So kind of making up some workouts as I go with the equipment that I've got. I've got pretty much everything, but you know, for like dumbbell press or like, you know, military dumbbell press, I'm using the cables. The thing with the stacked weights, you know what the machines have, it's easier to transfer the weight. Here I've got all, you know, plates I have to shift around all the time. There's a pro and con to that. The con is it's a little time consuming, but the pro for me is like I've got to actually get the routine in my mind before I ever come here so I can move and get everything set up first and then flow from one workout to the next. And I'm constantly shifting the weights, and it's like I'm able to stay in the workout a little bit deeper where it's a little inconvenient. You know, I feel like you got your visualization of the workout. I don't know, it's just better, man. You can stay in the workout rather than your mind's drifting all over the place all the time.
Incapable of succeeding. Let's teach them all these limiting beliefs. Let's not teach them personal finance. Let's not teach them the real things that are going to affect their lives. Let's not teach them how to be healthy. And when they get done with all of that, they'll be our perfect little peasant, and they will be our perfect little consumer of our corporate buddies who finance our campaigns to stay in power. And this is the system that we live in. And a lot of people don't like to admit this, but it's the truth. We live in a system where we promise freedom and autonomy and free will, where we are highly controlled and manipulated at all times. And so our education system cannot be looked at in its current state as an education system. We have to look at it for what it is, which is a handicapping system of all human potential. And when people graduate, the next step is go into college and get yourself into $100,000 worth of debt you cannot get out of because we're not going to teach you the skills and knowledge to actually get out of it. And so the problem with the education system is that fundamentally it's not an education system, it's an information for the purpose of control over a society. So that's the first thing. So what does that mean for us? And how do we fix it? Well, we could fix it, but it would take a lot. And it's going to take us reallocating tax dollars to provide favorable salaries and career paths for actual quality human beings that care about kids. Dude, if a teacher makes 30 or 40 grand a year, you're not going to have people that are capable of making 200 or 300. Like, who should we have teaching our fucking kids, right? We should be having people who are succeeding in the system that we live in, teaching our kids how to succeed in that system. So for us to hire a quality person, we have to reallocate tax dollars, create programs to attract quality teachers into the program. Not saying there's not a lot of quality teachers, but there's also a lot of shitty ones. So we have to raise the standard by raising the incentives, right? That's the first way, but that's a political solution that needs to happen. And parents, you should be demanding this to happen because we shouldn't be sending hundreds of billions of dollars overseas to places that do not affect our children, and then giving our children the scraps of our tax dollars and education.
And I'm basically starting out with, you know, maybe my 50% max or something like that. Do one warm-up set, get real focused, get my mind in the muscle, get the squeeze, increase the weight, same thing. And then I basically work my way up. A couple warm-up sets to that heavy max all-out set that I'm gonna basically push my last max. And me pushing my last weight and my last previous max is what's gonna, you know, cause for that adaptation, you know. for my body to say, oh shit, this is a weight that we have to cope to, and you know, bring the growth increase.
So if you look at the cost of that versus the cost of a college education and what you learn, it's a no-brainer, right? But we're also not taught to value information properly, which is, you know, we are indoctrinated over the course of time, college education, right? Like, dude, when I became an entrepreneur, dude, it was not cool to be an entrepreneur. It was like you were a loser that couldn't cut into college, all right? So the perspective has changed quite a bit, but until we recognize that we have
those first sets, I don't go, you know, to failure, obviously. It's basically, like I said, get the blood in there, but I get the pump. And then before that pump runs out, I want to do my next warm-up set and just keep that tension on there, working up to that major set, and but never losing the pump. And that's the thing. That's the intensity aspect is has to do with the volume, but you're talking about workload.
I do my podcast, I do social events, but most of my podcasts is personal development.
You're talking about time under tension, or the workload. So if you can compress that time in between sets down, you're basically amping up your intensity. So
kids who are 25 to help them learn the real skills of how to live. And I think, you know, other people are recognizing that we're not getting what we need out of our education system, so we're looking for alternatives. And I think it's just people like me and other people who have been successful taking charge and, you know, just like as an old, you know, the elders would teach the younger people how to live, or how to survive, or how to eat good food, whatever it was, right? They teach, the skills get passed down. And the university system is not doing it. They're not passing the skills down. In fact, they're keeping these skills from you intentionally. And so we, as people who care about future generations of the country, have a duty to share what we know when we think we can contribute and actually live a high standard and help people live a high standard as well. And that's how I see it.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to talk about the point about the elders, because we've lost a respect and a reverence for elders, in part because young people can use it to gain such status and wealth in such a short time.
Another element to all this is the more workouts, and this is one other reason why I go for the 1 set max. About 4 or 5 different exercises for a muscle group, and the 1 set max on each exercise. Because if I'm doing, I don't know, say 5 sets per exercise, and I'm probably going to be like, oh, I got 5 more sets. I just need to ease up on this one. But if I've only got 1 max set, I can give it my all, you know, and it actually makes a difference mentally, because it's not like, okay, this is another set. What actually goes through your head is like, okay, this is the set. And this isn't a workout, this is the workout. This is the one that's going to stimulate everything, but I've got to give my all to it. And kind of translates into life too, you know. Just pushing our previous limits past what we always have is what's going to create that adaptation in our lives and help us to get better. So we've all heard, you know, it's not just the gym. We don't go to the gym just to be in the gym, but it's a skill that we learn in here that's applicable to all of life. So
what are the principles? Why?
My principle is that I understand. I mean, dude, we have the smartest dude on the planet, Elon Musk, warning everybody that this shit should be destroyed. Okay? If you look at ChatGPT, it's highly biased. It's programmed. People think, oh, it's AI. It thinks for itself. It actually doesn't. There's a fundamental fucking reality that it's programmed with that you can clearly see when you ask certain questions versus other questions. And unless we have mass rejection of this technology, it's going to ruin and actually usher in a communist state. Because what will happen is it will eliminate so many jobs. People say, oh, it'll just evolve jobs. No, it won't, because it'll eliminate so many mid-level jobs that there isn't enough high-level jobs, or the people that were doing those mid-level jobs cannot do those jobs. Not everybody can fucking.
And I'm basically gonna work from the front to the side to the rear. I'm not gonna bounce around. I'm gonna keep the blood flowing in a specific direction. I like working from chest, top down. Just try to keep in a specific flow as I go and keep that pump the whole time and just work the whole muscle group and exhaust the whole muscle group. So do side lat raises, dumbbells.
This is
2 warm-up sets and 1 max set.
And do I think it's amazing? Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I can acknowledge that. Like, it's incredible. But at the same time, dude, I provide jobs, man. Like, I have 450 people that work in this building. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have thousands of outside reps that I'm responsible for. I realize how much I could literally replace probably 60% of my company with this technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, think about that. Yeah. Now all these people know what they got to go do. Like, we're not thinking long term in this country. We're thinking short term.
One thing you can get into that most people don't think too much of is the actual full range of motion that you have whenever you're actually lifting. So if you're going to total exhaustion and total failure, then you've got the positive, you've got the static where you just hold, and then you've got the negative. If you can actually exhaust it in all 3 areas, emphasis on the negative, boom. I mean, if you think about it, if you're not hitting that negative aspect, then you're really probably not exhausting everything that you possibly can. And so it's important to really emphasize the negative as you come down and hold. I used to do this exercise. It was called parallel crucifix, and you just hold weights out statically. You wouldn't move them or anything. And dude, my lats got super big whenever I was just holding them statically. So there are different ways to stimulate growth, but that static and the negative have got to be in there. Really to come to a complete exhaustion of that entire range of motion and exercise there.
Takes away our ability to actually be educated about fucking anything, and nobody's talking about that. So if we create a generation or 2 of imbeciles, all right, that don't know anything and just go to this thing, we're no longer the people that run the planet. The technology is, and this is not, like, I'm friends with Gary Vee, he fucking loves this technology. But like, bro, Gary, I don't think you're thinking it through. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. And by the way, we disagree on a lot. We're still friends. Now, if I was to say what's best for me, how can I make the most money? How can I grow the fastest? It's a great fucking tool. But I morally, I don't feel okay with it.
It's fascinating. I wonder what the reaction was to social media.
And you would be surprised. You'd think more is better, but that's not always so. It's almost like a quality over quantity thing. And what I always revert back to in my mind is like the illustration of the 400-pound gorilla doing a 1-arm pull-up. Like, just think about that. They're big as fuck, they're strong as fuck, but they're not sitting there doing reps in the gym. They're not sitting there doing, pumping out 1-arm pull-ups. They're gonna do one and probably go and eat a banana and chill out, And so really, most people have this really backwards where they think they grow in the gym, but actually all you do is actually kick the growth mechanism into, if you've done it properly, kick it into gear, and you actually are going to go home, and the rest and the nutrition is what you actually compensate with. And so if you can spin it in your mind how this stuff actually works, and you align yourself with the way things work, then you can actually start seeing results. Talk about overtraining. Overtraining is a real thing, and it is the exact thing that will cause you not to grow. And I know whenever I started taking more time off, dude, like, I started to actually get big. And I've been doing this for years, and I've never seen as much growth as I have doing the 1 set max per exercise as I have now. And I'm 33 years old. It's like, I wish I would have figured this shit out sooner, It's just brief and infrequent, man. That's the whole philosophy.
Yeah. Well, Casey Neistat just put out a video that showed smart ChatGPT doing an AI video that create a video. And it looked pretty good too. It looked good, but it didn't have soul. Yeah. And that was his take. And that's the crazy thing about all this is like what you have, what you built here, it's soul. It's full of human passion, and that's what we can feel that. Yes. When you look at someone in their eyes, you feel product. Look at that video. It's like, oh, that was a bad video. Why was that?
Most of the time, people are trying to come into the gym and do a shitload of sets because they're trying to speed up that growth aspect about it. You're trying to get big all in one day. We're not going to get big in one day. This is a consistency thing, you know? So if you can wrap your head around that this is going to take time. Get it out of your head that you're going to come in and do this in a few weeks or a few months, or, you know, you can probably get pretty big in a year, but it's a time thing. Slow down, you know, give it do the proper research, do the proper form and proper exercises, focus on that, and I'm telling you, everything else will take care of itself over time. And it all boils down to making sure you're threatening your physiology and giving enough time to actually recover in between workouts, and you will grow and you will get bigger. They say a stronger muscle is a bigger muscle. You can't really argue with it.
Personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. If we want a better world, we have to create a better world for ourselves. Meaning, we have to choose to put good things in our brain. We have to choose to put good things in our mind. We have to choose to be educated. We have to choose to be healthy. We have to choose to be active. And if we choose to treat people with kindness and grace and understanding on top of all those things, other people will follow suit. Who you think just drinks, he might be drinking a 12-pack of beer a day right now. He sees you transform your life. He comes up and he says, hey, Daniel, what the fuck's up, dude? You look great. What's going on?
The other benefit about not going to the gym, dude, you know, I'll be ready to do like cable crossovers, and I go to the cable machine, somebody's on, it's like, fuck. You know, but here, dude, it's one reason I set up the gym here, because you can just keep your mind in the muscle, keep completely focused, tunnel vision. You visualized it, and you can just go boom and implement, move from one machine right to the other. And I know not everybody's able to, but it's really nice whenever you are in the position to, or have like an empty gym and you can just flow, dude. And you'll find, dude, it really doesn't take that long to build muscle. 20, 30-minute workouts, 45 minutes, dude. You can do so much progress just like 4 times a week. It's unreal, dude.
As well. And that's how the world changes. So when you look around the world and you say, my life doesn't matter, I don't matter, actually realize that it's the opposite. Your life matters the most. Your actions matter the most, because your actions are going to dictate the reality for another human being. And that human being is going to inspire another human being. And that ripple effect cannot be quantified. And we all have a responsibility to contribute to it. So that's my challenge. Be fucking better.
Andy Frisella, episode 346, out. Thank you so much.
Yeah. That was fun.
I appreciate that. Fucking 10 hours of work.
Yeah, prior to also listening to hundreds of episodes. Yeah, bro. Like, you have no idea like, how many people I sit down with the interview and they have no fucking idea.
You guys have probably seen my back. Got the scars on my back. 33 years old, man. Like, I'm working around injuries, shoulder stuff, you know, back stuff, being out of the game for back surgeries and all this stuff, man. And I used to just push right through, like with bench, my shoulders would be clicking. Dude, now it's like you injure a shoulder, you're out for weeks and weeks. And it's better as you get older. It's just like, whoa, okay, I feel that kind of twinge in my shoulder. Like I need to find a different range of motion, a different exercise, or I just need to quit right now, let it recover for another week, work around the injury, and then come back. You know, I'd rather be out for a week, kind of letting it recover and working around it, than push it and then be out for 6 weeks or whatever it is. And then I mean, just imagine how much progress you would actually lose by doing that, you know? So the older you get, the wiser you get. But I mean, your body, dude, especially like your shoulders, you injure your shoulder, dude, that's back workout, that's your arm workout, that's your chest workouts. I mean, hell, that's even some leg stuff too. So it's like your shoulders especially are something you really want to take care of, because they are literally in between you and just about every single workout you do. And so, you know, just giving it the proper form. And it's a small muscle group too. I mean, it's probably the smallest one you're really working. And, you know, don't need a whole lot. And if you're doing chest and other stuff, dude, I mean, you're hitting them unintentionally anyways, and they are getting a workout anyways too. But, you know, you are going to want to have them in there, obviously, because that's what's going to give you some of the shape whenever people are looking at you. It's the, you know, cap shoulders and all that stuff. That's the look, man. But you got to be mindful of that, especially when you're young. You're probably not even going to listen to me if you're young. But as you get older, dude, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't do the same exact workouts that I used to. You know, I do a lot more cables now because I feel like you have more resistance the entire time rather than dumbbells and all that. Like, dude, I want to keep, it's time under tension. I'm trying to keep tension on the muscle the entire time rather than just do a lot of ego movements. Like, there's a lot of movements that I feel don't even benefit me. Like heavy bench, I don't even do that anymore. Like, I'll do an incline bench just for a bulk movement, and then I go right into ISO movements, dude. Like, I've eliminated all of those, just what I feel like is like, damn, I actually don't feel like I'm getting a good squeeze there. I'm done with it. I'm just gonna do things that really just focus and target on the muscle that I specifically am working that day. And if you feel it burning in the muscle you're actually working, then you're working it. But if you're doing cable flies and you feel it in your shoulder and your tricep, guess what you're working? You know, you've got to, like, you know, drop the ego and really just find that motion and movement that is going to specifically be targeted on that muscle group that you are saying you want to work out. So, yeah, it's an experience thing, I guess. I don't know. You know, and you get into the whole having a partner while you're there at the gym. I'll tell you what, if you have a partner, you're gonna push harder. It's like, I'm gonna try to show as strong as I am. You know, I ain't gonna look like a pussy in front of this dude, you know. And also you got the whole aspect, whenever you're trying to go to failure, like once you go to failure and you got somebody that can help you push out a couple more reps, dude, that's where it's at right there. That's literally going past your body's, you know, normal, I don't know, what your body's used to. But there's some ways you can do it at home by yourself, and it's that one-handed assisted stuff, you know, like helping it out, and keeping it there so you can kind of work around it. But if you can have a partner, dude, you guys are always probably going to push each other harder than you would by yourself, you know. Also, there's the aspect where you've got one side of your body that's stronger than the other. Okay, like my left hand, my right hand's my dominant hand. It's my stronger side. So I start out with my left. And if I can do 10 with my left, whatever it is, well, whenever I get to my right, I might be able to do 12, but I stop at 10. And I try to keep that symmetrical and strength going, but I base it off my weak side. And, you know, I just find it's probably better to do that. And it'll help keep the symmetry up and even out that strength eventually. I've heard people that are like, hey, put like an extra 5-pound dumbbell or, you know, plate on the side of your weak side. And it's just, I ain't gonna get into that unbalanced, sloppy shit. I'd rather just do as many as I fucking can with my weak arm and then stop at the same rep range with my dominant arm. All right. I would typically do a type of a pull down for my rear, which I would do at the gym, but I'm gonna do, I actually seen Jay Cutler doing them, but it's basically a reverse fly, and you can do it with cables. I was like, oh shit, I got cables at my house, I'm gonna try that. Haven't had the opportunity. Also, I'm gonna do, seen Hani Rambod, he was doing some kind of reverse rear delts with pretty light weight and just really burning it out. I'm gonna try that too for rear delt. If you're doing a significant back day, you're gonna be hitting rear delts pretty good, but there's still something you're gonna wanna put in your shoulder workout just to give it that 3D look and you know, from different angles. And there's also some strength benefits that can come with other workouts and body parts as well too, like you know, for chest and stuff too. So your chest is only going to be as strong as some of the weak links or other muscle groups that you in there. So if you got weak triceps, you know, but if you can start strengthening your triceps, then it's going to help your bench go up. So there's a couple different aspects and muscle groups that you can actually train individually that can make an entire lift go up. You know, so just something to keep in mind. All right. I'm still gonna have to, since I do this at the gym most of the time, now that I'm on new equipment, I kind of got to figure out what type of, you know, weight I should be using and the range of motion and all of that. And whenever I'm teaching somebody new, I'm like, dude, get on the machine with no weight and get on there, like the dip machine, get on there. It's like, no, lower the seat a little bit until you find where it's like, okay, that's like, this is the setting of the seat and setting of the machine that I need to be on to keep total isolation on that muscle group. And you'd want to do it before you ever put any of the weight on, figure out your range of motion, and then start stacking the plates, you know? But yeah, so I'm gonna go, if anything, lightweight right now, just to figure out what's the best way to do it. And the best range. It might not even be a workout that I feel like I can get the most advantage out of. I'm gonna do this seated. Oh shit, you can definitely feel that. Yeah, you can definitely feel those. That's actually a really good feel right there. It's like, boom, like right into that rear delt there. See, it seems like I'm doing several sets, but I'm really just, like I said, dude, getting the squeeze, getting the form, getting the mind in the muscle, and working up to find that max weight that I can, and it's a max weight that I can control and squeeze and keep that focus on the muscle the entire time. And that's what you want to do. You know, maybe the last couple reps, you might be rocking a little bit. I mean, if you're by yourself, you're going to have to do something to throw that weight up. And it's going to be something that if you're doing it correctly, right diet, nutrition, right rest period, that you should come back the next week and you should be stronger. And it is possible to get stronger every single workout, every single time. I'm at a calorie deficit right now because I'm cutting down for the summer, you know, but you know, when you got the right, like I said, nutrition and all that stuff, dude, then you should see strength gains every time if you're actually exercising correctly, you know. Damn, that like rolling motion too. It's kind of not just hitting the back, but it's like almost, it's like hits your side too. So it's almost like a really complete just type of movement right there. It's fucking badass, dude. I'm logging everything, right? If you don't have a training journal, you don't really know, like, you really can't improve what you don't measure, right? And so you'll come in here and be like, did I do 8 reps or 9 reps last time? Well, whenever you start messing with like significant weight, the difference in between 8 and 9 reps could be the difference in you knowing whether you've had enough rest and if you're getting stronger or not. It could just be 1 or 2 reps, you know? But if you're keeping an accurate workout journal, then you really can say, damn, this is working. Oh, nope. See, I went up in, you know, my rep range or threw a few extra sets in there and my strength went down. And you can really start tracking your progress and boil it down to a type of, almost a scientific method to where it's like, boom, I found exactly what works for me, dude. And you just keep fucking doing that shit. And you've like whittled away all the bullshit. You've trimmed off the fat and you just got the principles that work for you. And you just drive those home every single time you're in the gym, dude. So I'm a big proponent on the workout log and, you know, tracking progress, dude. I didn't do it for years. I just started doing it. Like I've done it on and off, but now that I've been being consistent with it for the last, you know, 6 months or whatever, dude, there's so much fluff that's taken out of my workout, it's ridiculous, man. And I'm just left with all this stuff that, you know, just works. Okay. And I really just record my my 1 rep maxes too, or not my 1 rep max, but just my max on that workout that day. And sometimes I don't even beat it, you know. But if I can say, if I've got like 5 or 6 actual exercises for, you know, back or whatever, if I can beat my previous PR on just like 2 of them, I know I'm at least getting stronger in that area. So it's like I still come out with the mentality, it's like, dude, hell yeah, like there's a win there, you know? And you're just stacking wins. You're building up your mentality too, man, that you can do this shit. And just confidence in life, period. All right. I'm running a little bit late, so I'm gonna move all the way down to just the calf raises. And yeah. If I can hit, they were sore yesterday. I didn't know if they'd still be sore. Usually if I come into a day to work out calves or whatever muscle group and I'm still sore, dude, take off, dude, because your body still hasn't actually recovered from that. And you want to talk about recovery ability. Like, dude, if you cut your hand, how long does that take to heal? It takes a minute, dude. Take a month or 2. You know, so, I mean, that's what we're doing too with our muscles. We're micro tearing our muscles. And the time that it takes to you know, the time that it takes to heal, that process takes longer than we actually probably like to admit. And but if we listen to our body and let our bodies be intuitive with our training and listen to how our bodies are actually responding, my calves are still sore. That must mean that I actually haven't compensated, you know, and overcompensated for what type of work I did last week or whatever. Like, dude, you gotta listen to your body, man. Like, and give it the proper time that it actually needs. Eventually, I'll probably get somebody out here to help train, like, and I'll train them on camera and go through a bunch of maybe like more technical stuff. But if you can just get down the basic fundamentals, dude, it's gonna help you out just a ton. And just for one, just knowing what stimulates growth, and it's pushing yourself past your previous point, you know, just that can help. But there's a lot of little nuances to it that honestly you don't have to learn on your own. If you just listen to somebody that knows, you know, it'll put you that much further ahead. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yep. So I'm gonna call that workout good. Just got under tension and I can feel that my calves are definitely sore, so I'm gonna take my own advice. Because really the thing is, like, if I recover, I'll come back stronger next week, or, you know, next time that I work them out. But if I just drive it into the ground, I'm dipping into my body's resources again. And then next time I come in, I'll have you know, it's like I would have been a couple days of progress if I would have quit. Yeah, anyways, dude, whatever. But all right, dude, peace.